Mike, a full week between two matches. The transfer window is shut. We've got a win, smiles on everyone's faces, a nice return to normality hopefully this week.
Yeah, I think that's how we can sell it. Look, it's been a good week in terms of just a single game week. It just seems to be in the last few weeks, game after game after game, and you kind of rolling into the next game and rolling into the next game. So from a personal perspective, to have a full week on the grass with the players has been really beneficial. And you know, there's naturally what happens is when you finally get your first win, which has obviously been long overdue, you know, there's a little bit more of a bounce around the training ground. Not that there was anything internally that worried me, but it's just, you know, wins do breed confidence. So yeah, we're looking forward to this weekend. We're looking forward to the next few games. And we're kind of, like I always say, we're full steam ahead to make sure that we take maximum points for all the games that we go into.
Looking at the squad last Saturday, there were at least three kind of first team names that weren't involved, obviously because of the only 18 numbers of the squad limit. Two players are away on an international break. Having those back in the fold now provides real competition for places, doesn't it now?
Yeah, it's a real headache, I'm not going to lie. And listen, I dealt with something similar, probably a little bit more extreme back end of last season. But what I've said to the group, and I've reiterated it this week, we can look at it two ways in terms of it's a headache in terms of you're going to have to let people down, but at the same time they're going to have to turn up every single day making sure they're 110% kind of fully focused on being the best version of themselves. If they do that, they'll give themselves a chance to play in the team. And naturally what happens is you win a game, competition for places goes through the roof. So what's been really nice this week is there's been a lot more kind of fire in the belly is probably the right phrase to use, in terms of, I think the players out the squad or out the team know they're going to have to step up to get in the team, and I think the people that have obviously played in the team and done well know that they have to kind of stay at that level to stay in the team. And the message this weekend is obviously there'll be players that are going to be disappointed, and they've got to kind of roll their sleeves up and show myself and everyone that they deserve to be in the team. And the team that we decide to go with at the weekend, they've got to keep the shirt. It's really, really simple. It actually makes life really easy for me in terms of that's the message to the players.
There can be quite a simplistic view in football that once you've won a game, just go same again, everything the same. But you made a point in the press on Saturday that actually the way to beat Mansfield won't necessarily be the way to beat Peterborough. And I guess that comes into the thinking when you're looking ahead to Saturday's game and thinking, well, doing the same again won't necessarily yield the same result.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously Mansfield in particular in the first half was so man for man, and they kind of opened the pitch up for us, which allowed us to kind of play into the top line a lot quicker, and we got a lot of success on that. I don't see that same level of aggressiveness in terms of like really man for man in Peterborough. I might be wrong. Obviously Darren's an incredible coach at this level, and he's got a huge amount of experience, far more experience than what I've got. And he might try to kind of tweak and change things to try and get a result for his team. That being said, watching them in their last game against Huddersfield, they obviously changed the shape, and they did well for large spells of the game. I thought they were very, very good. So yeah, every game will pose different challenges. We've got, as I've always said, we've got to stick to kind of our strap line, the direction that we want to go in. But at the same time, we have to be respectful and adaptable to the opposition. I think what we did do, the pleasing thing from my perspective, in terms of getting the message out to the fans, is what we did do last game is we were adaptable to what the opposition posed us, and it'll be the same this weekend.
Yeah, Peterborough are really a club to admire from the sense of they play a stylish style of football, they stick to their principles and that they develop young players. A lot of things there that possibly Wycombe are looking to do in the same manner, and obviously, you know, they had a bad start to the season, but sticking to those principles in the past has helped get them out of it, and again there'll be a tough test this Saturday.
Yeah, it's a really good point. They've got a huge amount of admiration for them, because obviously at my previous club it was a very similar model, and I would say they have a very similar kind of ethos in terms of youngest squad in League One. They've got some incredibly talented young players. You know, naturally, you know, managers union, head coaches union. I'm going to stick up for Darren in terms of, you look at the volume of players that he's lost this summer, you know, the amount of money that he's recruited into that football club. they're going through a huge transition. But when you watch them play, they've played some really, really good stuff. And they're a really, really talented team. So, as I said, like you've alluded to, after the Mansfield game, it's going to be a completely different type of test. They've got some really, really talented young players. They play a really, really good brand of football. They're going to be completely fine, and I'm sure, you know, they don't need me to say, you know, any kind of positives about them. They'll know internally, but they're going to be completely fine. You know, they've got some really good players. They've got a good manager. They play a really, really good style of football. They're going through a spell similar-ish to us. They'll come out through the other end, same as what we will. But yeah, it's a really, really good point. I think obviously we want to go down a similar-ish type of route, but we also, you know, we want to progress the football club and we want to move the football club forward, and they'll be very, very similar. But I've got a huge amount of admiration for Peterborough and everything they're doing there.